From GNN, the Global News Network, a division of Totown Communications Company Japan. Japan Journal. With Mal Adams. A Black Buddha Productions joint of Japan. And now, your host, Malcolm W. Adams.
Good day, everyone, wherever you are on the planet, and welcome to another edition of Japan Journal, the internet's #1 weekly English language online cybercast, streaming to you from Japan. I'm your host, Mal Adams, reporting on GNN, the Global News Network, a division of Totown Communications Company Limited, from the Media Arts Lab right here in beautiful downtown Kakiao City, Shizuoka Prefecture, Japan, on Honshu Island, in the center of the Japanese archipelago. In the Far East nation at the edge of the earth, so to speak. So as the world turns, anything east of us is yesterday. So you're sure to get it here first. All that having been said, time is but an illusion, which is the subject of our editorial comment before we go into the main program today. One of the prominent figures who proposed that time is an illusion is Albert Einstein, particularly through his theory of relativity. Einstein's theory fundamentally changed our understanding of space and time, suggesting that they are not separate entities, but rather intertwined in what he called space-time. In his theory of special relativity, Einstein proposed that time is not constant and absolute, as it was traditionally believed, but rather depends on the observer's frame of reference. This means that time can appear to pass differently for different observers depending on their relative motion. Einstein's theory also introduced the concept of time dilation, which states that time can slow down or speed up depending on the relative velocity between two observers. So, for example, time appears to pass more slowly for objects moving at high rates of speed relative to stationary observers. Now, this has been experimentally confirmed in various ways, such as through observations of high-speed particles and the synchronization of atomic clocks. Now, in addition to special relativity, Einstein, who formulated the theory of general relativity, which describes gravity as the curvature of space-time, caused by the presence of mass and energy. According to general relativity, massive objects such as planets and stars warp the fabric of space-time, affecting the passage of time in their vicinity. Now, this effect, known as the gravitational time dilation, means that time passes more slowly in stronger gravitational fields. Overall, Einstein's theories of relativity suggest that time is not a fixed and universal concept, but rather a dynamic and relative one, intimately connected to the fabric of space-time itself. This view challenges our intuitive understanding of time as a constant and linear progression, suggesting instead that it is a more complex and malleable phenomenon. The expression, quote, "time is but an illusion," suggests that our perception of time as a linear, unidirectional flow may not accurately reflect its true nature. Instead, it implies that time is a more complex and subjective phenomenon, influenced by factors such as motion, gravity, and perception. In other words, what we perceive as the passage of time may not be an absolute reality, but rather a construct of our minds. Interesting, isn't it? So, back in early journalism days, I used to minimize the use of the word here and there, particularly as a foreign correspondent or reporting abroad to mainstream mass media in the United States as a correspondent. My managers would admonish me not to use the word here or there or now and then so much because it is an illusion of time. So here is not there, and your now is my then, are statements that highlight the relativity of space and time. They suggest that our experience of the present moment and our spatial location are relative to our individual perspectives and circumstances. So living in Japan at the far eastern edge of the earth gives us a unique perspective on these concepts. As I suggested, Japan is one of the first places to experience the sunrise each day due to its location relative to the Earth's rotation. And this illustrates how our perception of time and space is influenced by our position within the universe. Ain't that interesting? For example, when it is morning in Japan, we're experiencing the sunrise. Someone on the opposite side of the earth is experiencing nighttime. Now, this contrast highlights the relative nature of time and the fact that now can vary depending on one's location. Similarly, the phrase, your now is my then, emphasizes that what is happening at a particular moment for one person may have already occurred for another person, depending on their respective locations and perspectives. In essence, these expressions underscore the idea that time and space are interconnected and relative concepts shaped by our individual experiences and positions within the universe. Fascinating. So that brings us to today's report. And in the interest of time, let's get on with the show, shall we? You know, I ain't wearing no timepiece. My chronometer is null and void, with the understanding I've just shared with you as to time being an illusion. But I digress. Today it gives me pleasure to introduce you to the YouTube TV show for the QMedia Nation. The QMedia Nation is a creation of a dear friend of mine and a mentee of mine from 22 years ago, here in Japan. Professionally known as Sister Felana, who came to Japan to teach English, as many young college graduates do. Coincidentally, our paths crossed and we became good friends. She shared my professional interest as a business owner, an entrepreneur, media artist, who was also involved in entertainment management and international corporate communications. So I mentored her by example of my achievements at that time. And today, I'm so proud to see how far she has come in her own right. So when I tapped in to one of her live streams recently to see how she was progressing, she did me very proud. She acknowledged me to her listeners accordingly. Here now is a clip from the QMedia Nation online show, your source for independent thought, politics, money, music, and life. QMedia Nation online TV show with your host, Sister Felana, featuring a shout out to yours truly, Brother Mal Adams in Japan. So please forgive me, won't you, as I take a whiff of my own flowers? Let's take a listen. Check this out.
Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you who just logged in is the great Mal Adams, all the way from Kakigawa, Japan. Good morning, sir. I already said Ohayo gozaimasu. I already said konbanwa. All of that good stuff. I really want to thank you for tuning in, because you know we were doing this in Japan. He can attest to it. I have two lives going on right here. I have the camera in front of me. I have Miss Tonye on the phone, and we will be also bringing back our Blog Talk Radio show. So I am just so excited. Mal said Ohio. So he has a place in Japan, and I'm going to give you a little bit of story behind who Mal Adams really is, because I talk about him to you all, but you don't know the impact that this man has had as a black man, an African American from the Midwest, no doubt, who is a mega star in his own right. Why I say that? Because if you've ever lived outside of America, You have to know how to navigate successfully in a state, territory, because some people, they say the state of Israel, that's outside of America. So that's why I say state. If you live in a country that you don't know any of the language, you don't know any of the culture, you don't know anything about it, and you go there and you master the language, and then you open a business that has been successful for nearly 50 years. Mal, if I'm wrong about the 50 years, you correct me. But if you can go to a foreign place and establish yourself the way that he has, and I don't mean one business, I don't mean two businesses, I mean several businesses, where he absolutely will take people like myself who know nothing and make them feel like they're at home. I was able to do that when I moved to Japan, 20 plus years ago. Went there to teach English. A dear sister friend of mine said, listen, this looks like something that you would love to do. And so I took a chance. My father was angry as I don't know what. We got into the worst argument ever. My mother was okay with it, but she still didn't like it. However, they still said, okay, you know what? If it's something that you want to do, you want to do. And so this is what I did. As I'm on the point of Mal Adams, here is this man that started CNN, the big station you know today, this behemoth of news and information. He started CNN in Japan. He was the catalyst. He knows Ted Turner personally. So we're not talking about somebody that just, he kind of worked in the mailroom. We're talking about someone who was media and broadcast savvy, a professional who took what he knows and expanded that, knew the language, and knows even more about the culture, has developed so many people like myself who are enterprising minds and develop businesses. We never lost contact. This is a relationship, a serious relationship, a business relationship. I call him Brother Mal. He calls me Sister Felana. You all call me Sister Felana. And through that blossoming relationship, we are still here 22 years later, allowing others to do what we do successfully and independently. So, Mal, I take my hat off to you. If I had one on, I take my hat off to you and just say thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for your brotherhood that you've shown me. Thank you for the mentorship, the absolute truth of what it means to be a foreigner amongst friends. So I thank you so much with all of my heart for giving me the opportunity to shine in Mal's place. That's what it once was, but is now under a different name. So he puts me on his live sometime, and we're in the club waving to the Japanese folk, and I just really appreciate what he's been able to do. So, Brother Mal, I love you, brother. So,
Wasn't that wonderful? What an acknowledgement. And I do indeed smell my flowers. Thank you so much, Sister Felana. I appreciate you and I respect what you've accomplished, and I support you continually in what you're attempting to achieve and are achieving in this media business. And so that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of Japan Journal. I'm your host, Mal Adams, here, coming to you live from beautiful downtown Kakegao City in Shizuoka Prefecture on the internet's #1 weekly English language online cybercast from Japan, Japan Journal, with yours truly, Brother Mal. Holla at you. Peace, power, love, and mutual respect. Thank you and good day from Japan. Signing out.
So that's how we do it. But anyway, coming up soon, we've got the another Mouse Bar event next week. We'll give you more information on that. For now, see you wouldn't want to be you unless you're right up in here at Sex in the City with Brother Mal and my new friend, Jenny.
From Lopez.
Jenny from Lopez. You're so funny. All right, y'all. Don't y'all hate me because I'm having fun. All right, peace.
From GNN, the Global News Network, a division of Totown Communications Company Japan. Japan Journal. With Mal Adams. A Black Buddha Productions joint of Japan.